The Yiddish translation for my name Shayna means beautiful. It's one of the meanings in Yiddish. There are a few other meanings in Hebrew. And I'd like to talk today about what does it mean to be a woman. Women are supposed to be the beautiful. We're supposed to catch everyone who falls. Who's going to catch us? We have to reinvent ourselves every time we grieve over everything. There's a lot of older men who are to be mentors, providers, like educators and doctors, who take advantage of our innocence and our desire to please. There's this sense of men peeing all over the territory of the mind of the woman. We close our mind to their manipulations and dominations, yet it hurts us to constrict ourselves. We're naturally open. We've been programmed to be results-oriented, one-track-minded, in other words, linear masculine. However, we're degraded and demeaned for being so focused and alpha, go-getter. We're asked to shut up and listen and be more feminine and receptive. And now I'm going to share some of my beliefs that have made me feel not beautiful inside. And then I'm going to invite everybody maybe to pause this video or come back to it and write a list of 22 parts of your physical body where you judge yourself, like we're coming from the mind that nitpicks, and is looking like a tweezers to find the problems. Why don't I feel beautiful? And it's always looking at the form, identifying as the form. And then moving out of that, it's going to be a chance for the subconscious mind to feed the conscious mind and show that this little tweezers actually exists in a large case of cleaning products which purify and are ways of caring for this physical form. And then we realize that this case, this psyche of conscious, unconscious mind, is only a small bag in a much larger backpack or even suitcase of intuition and emotion and body sensations. And some people identify with having clairvoyance, premonitions, and memories of the future, in other words, or seeing things that are not physically able to be seen with the two eyes, so this mind's eye ability. So we're gonna do this for the sake of bringing to light that which is hidden in the dark. And I encourage you now to either really let it all go and receive with your whole body the possibilities of these being your beliefs, that collectively as women, this is what we have had to carry from the soup of our mother's womb, all the feelings she was exposed to, her relationships before she met whoever our father is biologically, because she was carrying her eggs since she left our grandmother's womb. And she might have been exposed to this even if the whole world around us is changing, and we were born with all our eggs. And so we're doing this for the sake of connecting to the many inner voices that may compete for being true. And we're using the tweezer's mind in conjunction with the all of us in order to say, I can have these beliefs and I can stay woke. And I can trust that even when I'm in denial or dissociation or I forget who I am and I zoom in, and I'm like, gotta get it, gotta fix it, you know? We're gonna go inside and then we're gonna do outside. So we're gonna trust the process, that this is where we get our freedom, this is where we get our power. And the future is feminine. The future is beyond just the physical form. And science is arriving, healers are arriving, people are using Mother Nature's plant medicine, people are not using as many Amazon boxes. We're in it together. We're in it together. The feminine is unifying, it's collective. It is by nature. All of our abilities to get stronger means we are having heat come up in us. So men's femininity, women's femininity, this is for anybody, whether you identify as feminine or not. And that is not to say that I myself would say I'm a woman in the same category of somebody who became a woman later in life, who was born not with the feminine reproductive organs, or perhaps has both, or perhaps has changed their reproductive organs. I'm not here to judge how you identify. I'm simply here to talk about the inner feminine and the outer feminine, and we're going to beautify them by stripping them of where they think that they're not beautiful. I am not worth listening to because I'm worthless and bad in my infidelities, which abound. If I look back, I was a terrible woman. I'm always compared to the youth and innocence, even though that was when I was exploited. Feeling like I deserved to be humiliated because I was an adulteress at times. I bullied, I backstabbed, and I believe some deep, deep part of me that I could be backstabbed or bullied publicly. I made someone else's house feel unfortified, and now I believe it could happen to me. From bribing men to be with me, losing my ability and my position to even bribe them. And this is timeless information. Obviously, if I'm sharing this now, there's coherence. I'm not currently suffering in this way. However, this is part of my constitution, and this is part of my history. And if anybody can identify with this right now, that's where the healing is. And we're able to feel, that's where we heal. Wanting to maintain many backups, because no man is secure or truly reliable, yet doing so is seen as unfaithful. Other women are ashamed of me, judging me. I have to be loyal to a husband, or I'm prostituting my beauty, even if he isn't doting on me, even if I'm just charming or flirtatious to a man who's very friendly. I'm forced to marry a rescuer, but wishing to be admired, not just to admire the rescuer. Feeling dirty, unwanted, and helpless, like a little baby who grows officially into the beauty and fullness because of being taken care of by another's mercy. It's not even to my own credit. Judging my sisters, judging all my sisters as worse than me, even though they were probably more righteous and less abominable, some of the dark things I did. Feeling like a harlot for free, using beauty and popularity to be lewd and filthy with anyone passing who wants. Soliciting versus being solicited, which is the usual way. Really feeling like an unwanted woman, like I'm a man pretending to be a woman. Giving gifts instead of getting gifts because of degraded ways. Some of this includes makeup, hairstyles, clothing, so much money, so much time, waxing my whole body, or shaving or epilating. The gift of being a hairless, perfect woman who looks gorgeous all the time. Recognizing that in good times I didn't speak to these sisters, whether they're my actual sisters or other women, and rather only when my wickedness became exposed did I suddenly become less judgmental and kind to these women. So taking away all the shame and blame and guilt from these baggage, taking in some deep breaths. Doing a sound healing. One more. Swimming out of it, being rebirthed. And recognizing also this anxiety about choosing a partner. A lot of us women are called anxious, we're emotional, we have to carry it for the men. Now, where does this come from? This comes from believing we're only meant to be with one man in our entire life. Deeply, 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 these family values have been instilled in us. And whether or not we are all over dating apps, having multiple partners in one day, really posting our naked body, even if it's slightly covered on the internet, walking outside with a certain kind of walk to make sure that we look like we've got sexually fun energy. But there's four main ways which we purify ourselves: through food, through emotions, and obviously money, which I'll say here is more masculine, but it's also a woman. Money wants to feel precious. Food wants to feel precious. Emotions want to feel precious. They want us to see how precious they are and hold on gently and not like leave it like free for all and, waste money, repress emotions or spill emotions. And of course, food, not overeat, not undereat. And the same as with a woman. It's like holding a bird gently so it feels precious, so it feels loved. But the minute that you hold too tight, it squashes, it wants to get away. The minute that you hold too loose, it is able to go into someone else who will hold it and treat it a little more precious. And this is what it means to be a woman. So all of us sort of got transformed for the rest of our life by the first man we were with. Now, my confession here is that I took my own innocence. I broke my own virginity because I was so afraid of the men that were trying to take my innocence, trying to hurt me before I was with the man that was pursuing me. Now, I always have this little sense of, because I was raised spiritually, that you're really like with one, you have one soulmate. I always had a fear that the first man I lost my virginity to is truly like the partner for my soul. And in doing so, I ran away from myself. I was with him for much longer than I should have. I looked for him in other men afterward. He moved away. He had to go. He became unemployed. He became impoverished. And I stuck by him. And I was able to see all the ways in which this process of taking my own innocence, contaminating myself in some way so that I could be loved without also being rescued or made committed to this one man, I recognize how I didn't actually get a chance to live. I didn't get a chance to love with somebody else. Because it would have been in my innocence that I would have had to learn how to trust. A lot of the paranoias that come up that there are no good men comes from me not being willing to see that I took my own innocence. I was unable to trust another man. And it's not just me. I look everywhere around me. I thought it was just me, but it's everybody in their own way, protecting their innocence, the most precious, and covering up with a lot of masculine energy. Now, I've formulated my list, as I said, of all the outer things on my body which I judge. And this is for the sake of healing. So if you do this, you don't need to worry that you have to sugarcoat it. You're not reading it out loud for strangers to see, but tell yourself the truth. Tell yourself the truth. And if you identified with any of the areas in which I said, what does it mean to be a woman now? Or if you identified with a first love who transformed you and took away your innocence, I want you to do this for the sake of the future you. You can't go back and change the past, but you can now learn, what did it mean until now to be a woman? What did it mean? What was the heaviness you had to carry? What was the dirtiness you had to carry? And how did you try to protect your innocence in some way? Think about these things. What I'm advocating here is self-inquiry for the sake of your true self, which has to look at this stuff, which are like layers. This isn't easy. I have to do a lot of healing in order to be able to arrive at this moment, to be able to share this medicine, which you're not going to find in a lot of places on the internet because people want to use the internet to look beautiful. But I'm going to trust this process, that who I am and my strength, which may be so courageous that someone might mistake it as being pathetic or desperate. And in this case, I'm willing to avoid despair for this world by being desperate. I'm willing to avoid being inhumane by letting my pathos dwell in my body. And this doesn't make us pathetic. So, I've got 22 here. The reason I chose the number 22 is because there's 22 letters of the Hebrew alphabet, which are to be used in conjunction with the entire world's coding. So we can see that life protects life. Life knows itself. And all of us are part of life. When we choose life, how we were created to be exactly who we are, we're freed. We're freed of multiple fogs. We're free of multiple agendas, projections, expectations, identifications. We're free to live and we're free to love. We're free to be ourselves without feeling desperate or pathetic, without feeling ugly. So, in this way of embodying my true life, but also the parts of me that judge me, that have taken this all on to say that I am so not beautiful, I'm reading this for that cause. Number 1, my legs are too hairy. Number 2, I've got hair on my chin, on my mustache, and hair that grows in the middle of my eyebrows. Number 3, the area between my inner thighs is rubbed, darkened. I don't know, like just because of having been overweight, of having a small bladder, sweating a lot over there. My right hip has issues, feeling off balance. My left knee has issues, feeling like can't fully stand aligned on it. I feel I don't have enough of a chin or a neck. My eyes are too close together, and my left eye, which once got hit with a plant, is not aligned. I feel I have septum breathing issues. My tonsils seem too big. My throat feels blocked in my consciousness. It seems like my neck is not aligned. There's clicking, there's tension. I feel I can't fully, be satisfied. My hunger at times, or at least my stomach, which wants more than than it needs. I feel like I can never be fully clean. Every day, it seems, or every 2 days, I must shower, else I'm going to get smelly. I feel like the back of my thighs and my butt can get these little pimples that are ingrown hairs very quickly. I feel my pelvis is not in a bowl shape, and it's like I can't fully sit with a back upright and scoot my tailbone under. It's kind of like my back always wants to go inward. I feel like my physical body gets rigid. I can't just move freely, sing and dance when I want. I feel there's a fat quality to my flesh, which is like a sag. My feet feel so flat and pudgy. The toes are unattractive. I feel the hair on my head is too thin. I feel my vagina lips are not even. One of them is slightly higher and a little bit different than the other. I feel all the tattoos I got on my body aren't the most dignified. Or having these tattoos makes me undignified. To be tattooed is undignified. My left thumb is numb and pain for many years ago, a surgery. And last, my right shoulder blade, since my first relationship, my first intimate relationship, I felt that it's not fully aligned. And so there you have it. These are areas where on the outside, I have taken in unfair judgments against myself. And on the inside, where I've taken on unfair judgments inside myself. And finally, unfair judgments on losing my innocence. And I would like to advise everybody who might see this to set your intention that you're willing to stay woke. Stay woke means even while you want to escape, depress, avoid, change what is, to allow these to be part of what is, trusting there is something more, trusting that you can do this. You can face your own worst enemy inside of you, and that there are so many people doing this too all over the world. And doing this purifies your, what we call aura. It purifies your electromagnetic frequency, and you will repel negativity and you will attract positivity by just being whole, by allowing your light to shine on the darkness.